7 Nightly News with Peter Mitchell.
He need not even pick it. The drought is over. 52 years. They've waited. Let the celebrations begin.
Let's hear it for Collingwood. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip.
After 32 years in the wilderness, Collingwood Football Club savours the thrill of a premiership. A very good evening, and at last Collingwood has shrugged off sport's most documented jinx to win the inaugural AFL Grand Final. Nearly 99,000 packed the MCG today to enjoy Australia's biggest sporting spectacle. Diana King reports.
1911 was the last time the two league heavyweights Collingwood and Essendon met in a grand final, and 79 years on, supporters poured into the MCG, still prepared to show their true colours.
Collingwood! Collingwood!
Collywobbles, even in October.
Essendon fans last enjoyed victory in 1985, but for a legion of grand final-starved Collingwood stalwarts, it was a chance to throw off the Collywobble curse. Long-suffering Magpie supporter Pat Newell was full of hope.
It's like a religion, really. You know, it's our faith, and we feel God up there is really going to look after us today.
Bomber fan Steve Kirakidis was just as keen for victory.
We've got butterflies and it really excited about the game today.
Also in the milling throng, football-loving politicians.
I hope Collingwood's first win in 30-odd years.
I was at the 1958 Grand Final that Collingwood won, so it's, I think 32 years on, I'm going to see history sort of remade.
I've been a supporter of Essendon since I stepped out of the cot, which is over half a century ago.
Police and bylaws officers were on the lookout for scalpers selling tickets for up to $500, with some forged tickets also in circulation.
I'll buy any spare tickets.
The side of it's ripped off.
How much did you pay for it?
Use it $20.
Being fined up to $1,000 for selling tickets without a permit.
Inside the arena, players began the warm-up ritual, and goal umpire Graham Williams also limbered up for his first grand final.
It's going to be over 90,000 people there, and I've never umpired before 90,000 people before, so...
Pre-match entertainment featured a drive pass by USA PGA champion Queenslander Wayne Grady and Brownlow medalist Footscray Littleman Tony Liberatore.
Billed as one of the biggest grand finals in years, the game is televised to an estimated worldwide audience of 80 million people.
The cheer squads lifted their giant banners to signal the arrival of the teams onto the ground. Essendon keen to take home the first AFL premiership after winning the first VFL flag.
Our boys who play this grand old game are always striving for glory and fame.
Collingwood set to break the final hex that has spawned years of derisive Magpie taunts.
Good old Collingwood forever. They know how to play the game.
Singer Normie Rowe belted out a well-known tune minutes before the first siren. The game began with fireworks, but Collingwood pulled away by quarter-time, not to be denied the 1990 grand final. Essendon players and fans showed their disappointment, but the Collingwood Army, after a 32-year wait, were jubilant.
Well, the throngs are already gathering at Collingwood's headquarters at Victoria Park, and the streets around the ground are choked with black and white revellers. Ian Hislop is there. Ian, after a memorable week with the end of the Melbourne Herald after 150 years, German reunification after 45 years, this might top them all.
Well, Pete, I don't have to tell you, 32-year drought broken, and we're seeing all the emotions you'd expect. Elation and relief. No longer will the Naggies be mugged. Here at the Collingwood Social Club at 10 minutes past 5, all hell broke loose. A spontaneous eruption from hundreds of long-suffering, ticketless Pie fans who watched the match on television screens here. It was an unbelievable release of pent-up emotion. They cried, they jumped, they laughed, and not just here. At Victoria Park, the historic win brought thousands of home and shop owners into the streets of Collingwood to celebrate. Thousands of cars, their horns honking, are headed for the dozens of parties that will be held in Magpie territory tonight. The two focal points, the Collingwood Town Hall and Victoria Park, where the thousands of euphoric fans have already started arriving for an enormous night. The drought has broken and the beer will start flowing tonight here at Victoria Park, but I understand it's also flowing at the MCG, where Peter Landy is standing by with the highlights. Peter, to you.
Thanks, Ian. Well, there are still emotional scenes here too at the MCG following the Magpies' 14th premiership. And indeed, I wouldn't mind owning a pub in Collingwood tonight. The Pies were absolutely magnificent as they restricted the Bombers to the lowest grand final score since 1960. Drew Morford has the highlights.
Shane Kerrison replaced Alan Richardson in the selected side for Collingwood, and when legendary coach Alan Jeans tossed the coin, Tim Watson had the first victory for the Bombers. Kerrison celebrated his late inclusion with the first score of the match, a behind after a long bounce.
Danaher getting back first. We'll see it over the line.
Salmon's height proved an early advantage for Essendon, and he was giving Christian the slip. Kelly went back onto the Giant, but it made little difference, and his 4 marks produced the Bombers' entire score to quarter time, 2 goals 2. But late in the term, the Pies hit back. Starcevic, off the bench, set up Dacos, who kicked one of his miracle goals.
Look at the gather. The right foot snap.
And Brown put Collingwood in front at the first change. But after the siren, the game erupted into an ugly brawl, with players coming from everywhere. Even the trainers became involved in a spilling over of emotions. Out of it, Gavin Brown was left knocked cold, and even though he recovered, he was relegated to the bench. In the second quarter, the Pies went on to kick 7 goals without reply from the Bombers. 3 were from 50-metre penalties. Krasiska kicked a great goal on the run to give Collingwood a 14-point lead.
Krasiska heads towards goal.
They piled on the pressure, aided by the scragging of the Essendon players, and built the lead to 35 points. The only goal for Essendon in the second quarter was one of the goals of the season by Derek Kickett, who snapped blind but truly. And with Essendon still playing the man, Barwick goaled from the third 50-metre penalty for the quarter to lead by 34 points at the long break. At the start of the second half, Terry Danaher gave away another one. Starcevic was forced off the ground, and McGuan took the kick after the 50 metres.
McGuan shoots the goal.
Brown heroically came back after a quarter on the bench and immediately dished it up to Danaher. Dacos kicked another miracle goal on the run, this time with a banana kick for a 46-point lead.
This is where he's at his best.
The Bombers came back with 2 goals in a minute after marks by Somerville and Grenvold, but it was a short revival. Things weren't going well for the Bombers. Thompson's hand pass straight into the arms of Brown. The last quarter was goalless for the Bombers, but Kickett took one of the marks of the year to go with his earlier goal. Madden typified the Bombers' fate, kicking into the man on the mark, and Barwick sealed it for the Pies with a great snap which sent the Collingwood army into raptures. A rare show of emotion by history-making coach Lee Matthews as the game was well won. Captain Tony Shaw won the Norm Smith medal, the first captain to do so, and Matthews turned a playing legend into a coaching legend, breaking the 32-year drought.
Let's hear it for Collingwood.
At last, the Pies. Drew Morfitt, 7 Nightly News.
And indeed, the celebrations have just begun. We go to the Collingwood rooms now with Michael Robertson, Peter Dacos.
Well, Peter, you've been around a long time. How does it feel after 32 years to finally get that flag?
Michael, it's unbelievable. I remember at the 25-26 minute mark, I wanted to look across the bench and just see what the reaction was like, because I just feel that so many guys have put in so much to the club, and not just the players, that I just felt that I wanted to see their reaction, because they've put in so much. Players' welfare, boot starters, property, stewards, chefs, the whole lot. People that have worked towards this today have got us there. It's a fantastic feeling, and you know, I suppose in a way it's erased all the bad memories that we've had, 77, 79, 80, 81. You know, we're at present day, we've won the flag, and that's all that matters.
Well, fantastic, Peter. I'll let you get on with the celebrations, and I think that we'll have to go to Bernie Quinlan. The feeling in this room's great. Over to you in the Essendon rooms.
Bad luck, Kev. Where do you feel you went wrong today?
Oh, I think that they were much stronger than us, really. It's disappointing from that point of view. I felt that they were pretty committed today. I was very impressed with Collingwood. They deserved their win, there's no doubt about that. And we've just got to go back to the drawing board and start looking at trying to get from second to first. We've come up a rung this year. We've been working at it for a couple of years. But full compliments to Collingwood. They were much better than us in the day.
All right, well, that melee about quarter time, did that throw the side out? Collingwood seemed to settle better after the break.
Yeah, they did, actually. It was disappointing, but I thought we lapsed in concentration, and, you know, we were penalised 50 metres a couple of times, and when the Amps were trying to tighten the game up and get everything under control again, so that gave them a bit of a lift. They kicked a couple of goals in, and, you know, that probably just give them that chance to keep going on with it. But looking at the overall game, there were many boys there that really got a lift in our team to want to improve in the AFL for next year, and we're going to have to go back to the drawing board over the summer, and our game next week in London, and start looking for a couple of players that want to go that next step in their footy career.
All right, thanks. OK, Kevin Sheedy. To the Reserves Grand Final now, and Carlton came from behind to beat Melbourne by 3 goals to win its 3rd premiership in 5 years. And in the under-19s, the Demons were again beaten, this time by North Melbourne, which dominated the match to win its 3rd flag in the past 4 years. That's it from the MCG. Back to you in the studio, Mitch.
Thank you, Pete, and what a day for football. It's still hard to believe. And when we come back, the news of the day and Esso and its striking workers set for a showdown.